A golden sun rises over a land older than memory. The desert shifts from pale rose to glowing copper as light spreads across a horizon untouched for thousands of years. The Nile glitters beside it, a long, slow-moving ribbon of gold that has carried life through Egypt since the beginning of civilization. And from the soft morning haze, the Great Pyramid of Giza slowly emerges, not suddenly, but as if rising out of time itself. Its massive stones catch the sunlight, revealing a monument that has endured more than 4,000 years of wind, sand, floods, kingdoms, and revolutions. Nothing else on Earth feels so ancient yet so present. When you look at it, you don't just see a structure, you feel a heartbeat, a sense that something vast, patient, and eternal is watching over the desert. Around the base of the pyramid, the modern world stirs. Camels shift their weight, guides call softly to early visitors, and dust drifts lazily in the warming air. Even in this moment, the past feels close, like a presence hovering beside the present, waiting for the world to wake up. Egypt is not a place where history is buried. Here, history stands in the open, breathing, watching, waiting for the world to wake up. Long before Egypt had kings, temples, or written words, it had the Nile. The river arrives each year like a promise, rising, flooding, retreating, leaving behind a dark ribbon of fertile soil across an otherwise unforgiving desert. From this rhythm, the world's first great civilization was born. The Nile did not simply give water, it gave order, stability, and time itself. Along its banks grew the earliest villages, clusters of mud brick homes, grain fields stretching into the horizon, and families who learned to read the sky and trust the river's return. Everything depended on this cycle. Food, trade, calendars, even religion flowed from the Nile's pulse. It was the quiet architect of Egypt's greatness. To stand on its shore today is to feel that ancient heartbeat still moving beneath the surface. Fishermen cast their nets just as their ancestors did thousands of years ago. Farmers guide animals through fields fed by the same soil that nourished the Pharaohs' bread. The river carries stories in its gentle current, stories of floods that fed millions, droughts that toppled dynasties, and journeys that connected Nubia to the Mediterranean. The Nile is more than a river. It is Egypt's memory, a line of life stretching unbroken from the distant past into the present day. A timeless highway that shaped not only a country, but the very idea of civilization. South of Cairo, the desert opens into a realm where stone remembers everything. Here lies Luxor, once the mighty city of Thebes, a place where temples rise from the earth like the ribs of ancient gods. Even from a distance, the statues of this city command silence. Their faces, weathered by millennia of wind and sand, still carry an expression of calm authority, as if the pharaohs carved their own immortality into the rock. Walking into Karnak feels like stepping into the blueprint of the ancient world. Massive columns tower above you, carved with spirals, lotus flowers, and hieroglyphs that glow softly when sunlight slips through the cracks overhead. The air is warm, quiet, thick with the weight of history. Every footstep echoes, every surface tells a story. You realize quickly that these temples were not simply places of worship, they were cosmic maps, reflections of how the Egyptians understood the universe. The alignment of gates, the height of pillars, the shadows cast at noon, every detail was designed with purpose. These were monuments engineered not just for their own age, but for all ages. And somehow, despite invasions, earthquakes, shifting sands, and the slow erosion of time, they endure. Karnak, Luxor, the Valley of the Kings, their stones still stand, still whisper, still wait. Here in the desert, time does not erase. It reveals. Cairo does not ease you in. It rushes toward you all at once, a city of movement, sound, and relentless energy. Streets fill before sunrise, traffic flows in controlled chaos. Voices overlap in 1,000 directions. Cairo is not quiet, and it does not pretend to be. It is alive in the loudest, most unapologetic way possible. Minarets rise above apartment blocks and highways, calling the city to prayer as the sun climbs higher. Markets spill into narrow streets, heavy with the scent of spices, coffee, and warm bread. Motorbikes weave through crowds. Vendors bargain with smiles sharpened by generations of practice. Every corner feels like a negotiation between past and present. Yet even here, history refuses to stay hidden. From rooftops and bridges, the pyramids appear on the horizon, distant but unmistakable. Their silhouettes cut through the haze like reminders that Cairo exists in the shadow of eternity. You can sit in traffic, surrounded by modern life, and still glimpse structures built before history itself had a name. Cairo is not a contradiction. It is continuity. This city has absorbed conquerors, empires, revolutions, and reinvention, and kept moving, beating beneath the noise like a second heart. It carries ancient memory in its foundations while building relentlessly upward. In Cairo, the ancient world doesn't feel gone. It feels woven into everyday life. Far to the south, Egypt begins to slow down. The chaos of Cairo fades into memory, replaced by warm air, open water, and a quieter rhythm shaped by the Nile itself. This is Aswan, a place where the river feels wider, calmer, and deeply personal. Here, life unfolds at the pace of the current. Granite cliffs rise gently along the riverbanks, glowing softly in the afternoon sun. Felucca sails drift across the water, their white triangles catching the breeze just as they have for centuries. The soundscape changes. Fewer engines, more birds, more wind, more silence. Time does not disappear in Aswan, it stretches. This region has always been a gateway, a meeting point between Egypt and Nubia, between Africa's interior and the Mediterranean world. Trade once passed through here in gold, ivory, and stone. Today, that legacy lives on in the faces, music, and traditions of the local communities, shaped by cultures that predate many Egyptian dynasties. On a nearby island, the Temple of Philae stands as proof of devotion and survival. When rising waters threatened to erase it, the temple was dismantled stone by stone and rebuilt nearby, an act of modern engineering driven by ancient reverence. Watching its columns reflect in the water at sunset, you realize something important. Egypt does not simply protect its past, it rescues it. And in Aswan, that respect feels personal. A quiet agreement between the river, the land, and the people who have lived beside it for generations. Deep in the southern desert, far from cities and river villages, Abu Simbel rises from the rock like a declaration meant for eternity. The surrounding landscape is silent, vast, and unforgiving. And then suddenly, the temple appears. 4 colossal statues of Ramses II sit carved directly into the cliff face, gazing outward with unblinking authority. Each figure is taller than a modern building, yet their expressions are calm, controlled, almost serene. Approaching Abu Simbel feels less like visiting a monument and more like entering a conversation across thousands of years. Ramses built this temple not only to honor the gods, but to project power far beyond his lifetime, to ensure that his name, his image, and his presence would never be forgotten. And it worked. Inside, the walls tell stories in stone, battles, offerings, ceremonies, victories frozen in perfect detail. The corridors narrow, drawing you deeper into darkness, until suddenly light becomes the main character. Twice each year, on 2 carefully chosen days, the rising sun travels through the temple and illuminates the statues at the inner sanctuary. This alignment is not coincidence. It is engineering, astronomy, and belief fused into a single moment. When the temple was threatened by rising waters in the 20th century, it was moved piece by piece to higher ground. An act of global cooperation inspired by ancient ambition. Abu Simbel is not simply preserved. It is answered by a world that refused to let it disappear. As the day draws to a close, Egypt softens. The heat loosens its grip, and the land exhales under a sky painted in amber and violet. Along the Nile, reflections stretch and shimmer as boats glide quietly across the water. Palm trees sway in the evening breeze. The call to prayer rises gently, not as noise, but as rhythm. A sound that has marked the passing of days here for centuries. In the distance, the pyramids fade into silhouette. Their outlines remain sharp against the darkening sky, unchanged by time, untouched by the world rushing forward around them. They have seen thousands of sunsets like this one. They will see thousands more. This is what makes Egypt unlike anywhere else. It does not feel trapped in history, nor does it chase the future. It exists in a rare balance, where ancient and modern breathe together, where myths, monuments, and everyday life share the same ground, where time is not something to escape, but something to live inside. This is Egypt, the world's oldest civilization still breathing. A land shaped by river and desert, a story written in stone and water, and a place that quietly reminds us where humanity began and why it still matters.